Alright everybody, welcome to Wild Beer Whiskey. I'm Jim, your host. Today we're going to dig into Basil Hayden's Dark Rye and Basil Hayden's Toast. Stay tuned, let's see how they go. Alright, so today on the first episode of Wild Beer Whiskey, we are going to be trying some Basil Hayden's Dark Rye and some Basil Hayden's Toast. Little preamble about me. I've been drinking whiskey for exactly 4 months now. I mean, not exactly, but for 4 months now. And so I am by no means a whiskey connoisseur. I am not a sommelier. I am someone who barely knows anything about whiskey. But today we're going to be trying this out, and as you can see, they're open. I've had a little bit of a taste before now, so it's not a first taste, but it's definitely an impression video and what I think about these two things as somebody who is pretty new to the whiskey business. I have some Maker's 46 here as well. I don't think we'll dive into that necessarily, but just in case I have time, I figured I'll bring it out because we can see how they compare to one another for bourbon to bourbon. I did start off with Scotch about 4 months ago, and once I made it through a little more than a half dozen bottles, from Spaysides to Highlands to Isla, I decided to go back to something that I had tried before and seemed to enjoy, and that was bourbon. Before 4 months ago, I actually was a complete teetotaler. I maybe had a beer occasionally and never whiskey, but in the intervening time, I've had a chance to sample some really good whiskeys, and really caught the bug. So I picked up these two bottles here a couple days ago, and we're going to light them up. So let's get started here. I'm going to start off first with the Toast, actually, and I was really pleasantly surprised by this one. I had not had a Basil Hayden's before a couple days ago, and to that end, my most I don't know, I would say expensive or most notable bourbon tasting at this time would have been Blanton's. I was able to find a bottle, and I should be able to find another one, and I'm hoping I can because I would love to drink that for you guys. But yeah, I don't want to ramble on too much here. This is Toast. It is from Basil Hayden, which is a James Beam product, finish of sweet caramel. And I can tell you right away, just giving it a nose, yeah, dude, that's definitely got some sweetness to it. Definitely some good vanilla stuff going on there. Caramel toffee. It smells delicious. It smells amazing. If you ever leave bourbon that little bit at the bottom of a Glencairn glass or a rocks glass and come to it the next day and smell it, it's just that deep, intense orchid, deep, intense vanilla note, and this kind of has that right off the bat. I do believe that this is a small batch, and I do believe that it doesn't have so much rye in it to go along with the corn, but it does have rice, brown rice, and that's kind of what distinguishes this from some of the other bourbon offerings. But here we go. Man, that's good. It really is. Man, as you start kind of breathing it in and letting it mellow, it's definitely a bourbon, but there's definitely something really easy about it. You do get those notes that it talks about, which is surprising because sometimes I'll drink a bottle of Scotch and I'm like, taste the dried fruits and everything, and I'm like, I taste no dried fruits on that. But this one, it's very easy to pick up on the sweeter flavors. You may be able to hear my children arguing in the background. Enjoy that. I do. Yeah, man. Something about being outside as well. There's kind of a cleaner smell in the air, but it's good. That's a very easy drinking. I would put it I haven't had anything really more expensive other than Blanton's and more notable again, but it's up there with drinkability, with good flavors, um, good nose. I really enjoyed this. I was shocked at Blanton's because the only thing I'd had really before that was Makers, not the 46, but the regular Makers, and then Eagle Rare. And I didn't have an appreciation for whiskey when I drank Eagle Rare, so that's another spirit I'd like to revisit. Another whiskey I want to take another stab at and see how it shakes loose. But I would say between the Toast and the Blanton's, I mean Blanton's has a little bit more of an edge for maybe because it got to me first, but the Toast is definitely up there. It's definitely a really good drinker, and for the price, I think this was less than $50. It's definitely a good pickup to try it. And now we're going to move on just real quickly into the Basil Hayden's Dark Rye. I picked this one up first, and I did like it so much that I went back for the Dark Rye, not knowing what I was getting with the Dark Rye, which is Kentucky Straight Rye Whiskey blended with Canadian Rye and Port. And it's my understanding, and I have no basis for this, other than Whistle Pig, which I hated. It just didn't melt my butter. And then Michter's American Rye. And the Michter's American Rye was, hey bug, really something fantastic. I really enjoyed that, and I'm hoping I can find and source another bottle of that to taste for the channel, because I think that was one of my favorite whiskeys, was the Michter's Rye. But it was so long ago. I mean, even several months now, July 4th, and this is October, that I had it. And I don't recall much about it other than it really hit the button. So I'm excited to try to get some Michter's, but I don't remember the flavor profiles other than it was fairly sweet. So I thought, well, I'm going to try this Dark Rye, figuring it would have more of those intense flavors, and not looking before I leapt and realizing that was blended with Port. I've never had Port. I have no frame of reference for Port, other than what I think it was Whiskey Vault said this is much more of a tawny Port flavor. I don't know about that. I'm just going to drink it and give you my impression of it as it sits on my mouth, as opposed to trying to remember it from a night or two ago. So we're going to smell it. And again, outside it's kind of hard to smell anything. But it does have good sweet notes, good berry notes. I really like this. I really like the smell of it. And it doesn't belie it at all. This is very drinkable. So let's do it. It's got a good mouthfeel. It has a good chill on the mouth. This is good for, even though we're coming into fall, it's still good for it, even with the chill. This is one of the few spirits where when I hear berries and fruit, I actually get that quite heavily. And I'm certain that's influenced from the Port, because I don't remember fruits and berries when I tried the Michter. I just remember sweet. And I remember a lot of spice with the Michters, or not the Michters, the Whistle Pig. But this is a wholly different animal. These are actually two wholly different animals. I guess Basil Hayden's has a thing for that. It is fantastic. This is highly drinkable. That really is one of my favorite spirits that I've tried so far. Just because it is very drinkable, and I imagine it would mix well with other things. Whatever, I'm guessing it could probably go either way. I don't really drink mixed whiskey beverages. I just go straight up and neat. Usually just a little bit in one of these Glencairn glasses, and we call it a day. But no, this is exceptionally drinkable. How it rates as far as a rye, I don't know. Like I said, I leapt before I looked, and I didn't get a good foundation in rye before I had it. But as a spirit standalone, as a whiskey standalone, I guess a blended whiskey with Port, it's very good. It's very drinkable, and I don't think you'll be terribly disappointed in it if you try it. It's very good. And there they go again. This is great. It's good trying to film a video. The Maker's 46. I'll grab the bourbon one for that. Make sure I finish it off. I don't think I'll actually get into that today. I think we've done enough. I think I've talked enough. Realistically, you're getting just a Whiskey Noob's impression. Again, 4 months in on my whiskey journey, I've had a few things. I've had a great opportunity to sample a few things with a good buddy of mine. I've had a good opportunity to make some great Scotch purchases, and I'm looking forward to seeing what comes up and what comes down, and what I can pull out for you. I've got a few other bottles in the cabinet that I can go through and we can talk about when I get to them. Ooh, beg pardon. It's good stuff. But until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and yeah, if there's any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them in the comments down below. If there's a bottle you think I should try, keep in mind I would like to keep it reasonably priced. I am not sponsored, I'm starting out, and every bottle here was $50 or less. This was exceptionally less than $50. That's the 46. I don't know, it might be out of the camera now, but the 46 was much less than $50. But try to keep it around that range. And I'll do my best to see if my my local liquor store can source it and see what I can do for you. But in the meantime, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll catch you on the next video. Naturally, the plane is still flying overhead and the neighbor is driving, so we'll just wait for this to wait for this to pass. Plane's still going.